At 5-7, the playoffs are now more of a long shot for our Minnesota Vikings here in year one of this Madden 23 franchise. We were in a really good spot last episode. We had just won 3 games in a row. We ended this losing streak and then decided, hey, we have these 3 home games in a row. Let's lose all of them in embarrassing fashion. So here we are with 5 games left to play this year, one against each of our division rivals. But will there be an important game left on the schedule for the Vikings? It sure doesn't seem that way. 5-7 is not a record you look at and say, yeah, that team might be able to get to the postseason. But I will say, being a Vikings fan, just seeing how this has gone, I'm almost expecting us to at least win these next 2 games, just to get to 7-7, create a little bit of false hope, and then pull the rug from under us once again. Now, there was some feedback in the last episode I want to talk about. So, when it comes to settings in these types of series, I have always done all pro default. Because I've found that over time, I get a variety of types of games, high scoring, low scoring, shootouts, slugfests. Madden 23 out of the box right now is definitely missing some things right now. The running game is weak. The interceptions are happening a lot. There was one piece of feedback to turn off intentional grounding, and I will do that. The CPU never gets called for it anyway, but if you are unfamiliar when it comes to sliders in Madden, this entire thing is a mess. It's just an interconnected spaghetti web of nonsense, and I can't stand editing sliders in Madden, but sometimes it is a necessity, and penalties affect gameplay. In some games, it's different, what affects what, but there are often some things in the AI that get better when you turn off intentional grounding from a quarterback standpoint, and I've been playing like slider tests for the Titans franchise. I'll be starting soon on my main channel with IG set to off, and in the last big series I did on Madden 20, I didn't have intentional grounding on there either. So we'll start out with that. I've thought about a little bit of a boost for the running game as well. Maybe we could try that today. I really don't like having to edit sliders here, and I'm hoping I can go back to default. But we'll go to 52 run blocking here, see if that just gives teams a little bit of a boost for now. I don't expect there to be a more significant update until closer to week 1. That's what it sounds like. So we'll manage until then, maybe a few slider tweaks here and there. And sure, while we're at it, let's go down to 35 interceptions on both sides, see if that cleans that up just a little bit. But after the next update, I will probably go back to default again, maybe turn off intentional grounding. I feel like there was a series in the past where I did that and it was just better. Maybe it was like Madden 20 or something, because that was a game where I got really deep into the sliders. But we're going to continue on now. Vikings and Lions, that's where we're at on the schedule right now. Week 14. I wanted to get into the NFL draft as well because, there's a chance this is like the last episode of the season. Maybe it'll be one more after this. But we have to talk about this draft a little bit. In a couple areas where I think the team needs some help. So, interior pass rusher is something. Let's go take a look at the defensive tackles right now. We have some solid early round options. I kind of wish I had made some of the, maybe this spot here, the focus. But even without it, I think that we're already seeing players here with a lot of potential. So if we're thinking about it here in round 1, Clyde Davis catches my attention. He's out of Alabama, 21 years old, C block shedding, but it looks like he's more developed as a pass rusher while being an average to above average athlete. B power moves for sure, and the finesse moves, it could be pretty solid. It could just be average, but should have a decent starting point. There is no one position where it's like, all right, we need to solve this problem in the first round. You never want to be in that position. So whether it's D tackle, corner, hopefully we can do more of a BPA by need and take care of some of those problems early on. Dominic Good, also a very good prospect who is a better athlete, run stopper with pass rushing skills, so definitely interested in him. I would rank him higher than Clyde Davis. Quincy Bankston, A tackle, A to C block shed. He's also a run stopper, C finesse, C pass rushing. But, you know, if you're looking for more of a run stopping first player, he's definitely a great fit. Alan Russell has B finesse moves. We have 75% on him. Around 1 to 2 player. So strength is good to great, good acceleration as well. Yeah, I feel like every Madden, you end up with a lot of very good defensive tackles. Pretty much every draft. And this is another thing I love to see here. They're doing a better job in their like draft prospect formula of giving players like greater strengths and weaker weaknesses. So Clayton Hatchett, for instance here, first off, he's a pretty good athlete. He has A finesse moves and then D power moves. And that's the kind of skill set that I think Madden needs to be showing more often. I think a lot of prospects come in and they're really good at one thing, but maybe the rest of their game isn't complete, and that's why they'd be a second or third round prospect. So just to see more of those ranges being explored, I think is excellent. So just looking at the players we have to this point and a quick glance at more of the 4 grades here on the right side, you have to be pretty impressed with the top of this class. As we go down, that's when you start to see, okay, there seems to be a steep drop off. Once you get past the top 6, 7 players maybe, like for Ken Hanna here, A to C power, everything else is low. I would need more information to draft him. He could just be not that great at anything. I would not be banking on power being towards an A. Then we have Deshaun Adkins here, A finesse moves on him, another really good athlete. So there's no excuse for us to not add an interior rusher in this class. It was pointed out to me in the comments too, when it comes to these focus players, it seems like they do 1 a week. So I do have the 80% now on DeMarcus Richards. So the feature seems to be working. We have him at 80% and we know he's a good finesse rusher. And he was the scenario player and it told us he had good football IQ. And B awareness with a play rec that checks out. So kind of a one-dimensional pass rusher. Okay run stopper right away. Yeah, not bad in the second or third round. I think it's a fairly deep class here at the top, so hard to separate these players, but we still have players split between all these positions too, so there could be some interior rushers listed at left end, like Clayton Barnett would be a left end here in a 3-4 scheme. The 4 ratings on the right side there don't look promising. I gotta say though, I'm already enjoying this whole process a lot more than in Madden 22. Just seeing those top 4, it is a huge time saver. Josh Ballard here, he should go on the board as well. Power and block shed, definitely a very good fit. Great to elite strength. And one last look here at the quarterbacks. So Mateo Enriquez, we went through him last episode, round 2 to 3 talent. And I still, I look at the physicals and the skills, and I am intrigued. Now, sometimes I do, maybe put too much stock into a B value grade here. You do want to get players with more A grades. And the fact that he's not elite at anything throwing the football is a concern. What's his throw power? Solid to good. So we're looking at average throw power. I'd expect in the 87, 88 range. Accuracy isn't special right away. I think the thing we want to avoid is drafting him and his ratings just match up with Kellen Mond. We didn't make a major difference there or get an upgrade. So I still don't know what I want to do, but if I have a chance after the first round, it's really difficult to pass. Yeah, this is just really cool being able to look at that right side. Like right now, I want to find anybody who has a solid A ball carrier vision. That's a rating I do give a lot of value to here in these types of series, because ball carrier vision ends up being really important. So I just found in a matter of a few seconds a couple running backs to go and put on my favorite board. Let's check out Dion Steele here. 5'9", 206 out of Delaware. Shows good ball security at times, but needs to improve in that area. Concentration drops. A vision. Yes, we are looking at a projected undrafted player. Unfortunately, not a great athlete. You do need more than ball carrier vision, but it's a rating that I do look for. Jonathan Woodyard out of North Texas, the Mean Green, 5'11", 234, great vision, possibly great break tackle, but not the best athlete here again. Be stiff arm, be trucking though. So some intrigue there. Oh wow, is this like the worst receiver class Madden has put out in the last 4 years? Every draft you do in Madden ends up having like, oh, here's a Jamar Chase caliber player and then a Justin Jefferson caliber player. And it's just every year flooded with so many receivers. So like if you ever need a receiver, it's never a challenge to get one. That's the way it had been. But this draft, first glance, I'm glad we don't need one. Now, that's only 4 ratings there on the right side. You can still have some other good ratings, some other good route runnings, but I'm not sure there is a blue chip receiver in this class, and that's just refreshing to see. If we go to this available board, we see Gavin Purvis is projected at 12. He's a playmaker. Do we think he's actually that good as a playmaker? Because this is a new archetype, and I'm wondering if this archetype can get you into trouble here. Like D release, B short route running, B to D medium route running. I suppose here these ranges are on the higher end. Maybe Purvis is decent. First glance was just like, oh, these ratings are underwhelming. But I guess when it comes to that playmaking style, the short route running is fine. Other stuff might be good. And the combine, I'm still not sold, man. I think he's a second round player. The next receiver doesn't show up here on the board until 24 and 25, so just a different kind of draft class here, and I like seeing that. All right, that's a long start here with the drafting. I hope you're enjoying that. I'm just happy that I can go to do that stuff and not spend like 40 minutes finding players to talk about. We're looking at $27 million of cap space going into next season. Irv Smith, I wanted to talk to him again. Still has that really low re-sign interest. What does it take when you're talking about that low level of interest? Historic championships. Was that a motivator before? Like, come on. That's just not fair if players are worried about the Super Bowl and the history of it here. We've been to 4. So the expected value is 3 years, $15.2 million. So I'll offer a bit more than that. That's not really a problem. So instead of $5.08 million per year, this would be $6.3 million per season. I think that would be reasonable. And he does sign. That wasn't too painful. He's a player that can still continue to get better. He's been reliable this season. So for that contract, why not bring him in? As we can see, morale seems to be playing a negative role on this team right now. So 44, that's at the point where you start to see, you know, some more -2s in the skill set. Definitely a rough stretch here. I like seeing morale matter. I'd still like to see them get a bit more aggressive with it at times. All right, let's get through some games now. First up, looks like we have the Detroit Lions. Just one little upgrade here first for right tackle Brian O'Neill. And Detroit makes it 4 losses in a row. So we scored 21 points in the first quarter. Great start to the game, and it was all downhill from there. Fantastic job, everybody. Jared Goff, 4 touchdowns, 4 for Kirk Cousins. Rough day here for the defense. Wong-Woo got some carries. Cook 72 yards. Jefferson scored 3 times. It was not enough, though, unfortunately. We also have an injury coming out of that game, and this is going to be to Andrew Booth Jr. So that's 4 weeks now. He is set to miss. I don't think that's going to happen. We take on a very good Colts team now. They are 9-4 on the season. Jonathan Taylor about to go for 200 yards. 5 losses in a row. JT did not get to 200 yards. Cousins was picked off a couple times. Taylor just 91. So I guess we'll take that. But Jefferson scores 3 more touchdowns in the losing effort. Can we just get this guy on a winning team? How do you expect him to want to re-sign if you can't win? How can we have a vote of confidence? Like, this was positive for morale, down but not out. No, we're very much down. Guys, we've lost 5 games in a row and we're 5-9. This isn't baseball where you have 150 more games to play. Question for you, coach. How closely have you been watching Cam Dantzler? Well, I've been watching every play. You know, all 22, both angles. I have everything you need to know. The morale goes down, though, for the defensive players. So we've allowed like 40 points almost every game on this losing streak. I can't wait to see what's next against Daniel Jones and the New York Football Giants. Interesting. So now we're late in the season and the full padded practices actually seem to be having an effect. Seems like the fatigue is more of an issue later in the season. So it's nice to see that this is something you have to pay attention to. And therefore, I will be trying to split snaps now at a lot more spots. Offensively, here's how it goes. And all the offensive linemen are around the same. Dalvin Cook, you'll notice, is lower. I don't know if like his fatigue situation has led to more carries for Wong-Woo in the simming, but you know, he's getting around 10 to 11 a week, so there could be something to that. So doing the split route here, we had everybody, looks like they lost 2 fatigue. Some players more, like Andrew Booth here lost 5. I think he's also injured. So I'm not sure what affects how much fatigue loss there is. I'm still trying to learn this feature. It's been in the last 2 games, and last year I barely used it because it just wasn't tuned properly. So the cornerbacks now are in that more high 70s range. Cam Dantzler here up to a 76 overall. I like him, but you know, I've always had to pay attention to this in my series. Like, just because a player might be a solid starter, you still, you know, you want to keep in mind getting upgrades still, and not just holding on to guys in their roles forever. So Andrew Booth, I don't know if we'll get to see him again this season. Always sucks when rookies miss time here. Let's see how that's affected his progression. Because, like, he's still getting training XP, and that's something I wish they would adjust. Because, first off, he's hurt. Shouldn't be practicing. He might get more hurt. Second, if he were to get hurt in this practice, that injury overrides the one he already had. If he has a high ankle sprain here all of a sudden, the thumb is suddenly healed, and now it's a 1-week injury with the ankle. So if they just took these guys out of practice entirely, it would make more sense. And you'd have those players, you know, that missed their entire rookie season, an entire rookie year of practice, playing time, and that's how you simulate the more injury-related busts. Those players that don't work out. You know, one example, Kevin White, wide receiver to the Bears. He was extremely talented coming out of West Virginia, but injuries early in his career kept him from getting really any major experience on his rookie contract. So he never really realized that potential. And if we check out like the XP gains here in the case of Andrew Booth, most of the XP you're getting is through practice. Where's Cam Bynum at this stage? 71 overall, plus awareness, plus zone coverage, 86 speed. With these ratings, you know, you project him as more of a long-term backup or spot starter. I'm not convinced we're going to win again this season. It's 24-21 now. Giants win. And we are more cementing ourselves into having a very early draft pick with every loss. Alexander Madison taking us on. 54 yards, a touchdown for him. We do see 9 carries for Cook, 5 for Wongwu, 3 for Chandler. They were all pretty mediocre carries, it seemed like there, but playing time getting spread out. What do you think? Should they reduce like the amount of XP you get in practice and increase the XP you get by playing? Because it seems like there's only a moderate value to sneaking a guy in for, you know, 6 carries here or there. Is that experience really being rewarded in the game? There are 2 games left to play. The top teams in the NFL have 11 and 10 victories. Right now, we are in a cluster of teams that can contend for a top 3 selection, but there's just so many teams here. I'm not going to be worrying about tiebreakers when it comes to the draft positioning. We'll wait till after the season. But it looks like we'll have a chance to pick pretty high. I think it's also a good idea to just give those snaps to the backups now, and possibly even just make a couple changes to the depth chart, because at this point we know the season has officially been lost. And now we're seeing like +5 fatigue or gaining back 4 if you're not getting a lot of those practice reps. That's interesting. I got a lot more to learn about with this feature, but it seems like it's in a better spot than it was. I haven't seen how the CPU is handling their teams, though. That was the issue a year ago. If the CPU can't handle something, then sometimes you gotta turn it off entirely. We are able to upgrade our staff, and I have this set to the slowest upgrading, so there probably won't be a lot that we can buy. Secret Remedy, decrease multi-week injury recovery time. Not really a fan of that talent tree, but it's the only way I can start to go down player growth at all. Let's go offensive line. Still a lot of young players there that can develop. Guess what? The Vikings do win at least one more game this year. We rebound against the Green Bay Packers 31-21. This gives us our 6th win of the season, and we'll see what that means for our draft positioning. There were a lot of teams at 5 wins. I bet a lot of them just lost. Could we be looking at more of a 8th or 9th pick instead of 4th or 5th? We have one more game to sort that out. The Bears started the season 5-1, but are now at a much cooled off 9-7, and this might actually be a pretty important game for them. They'd be in line for the 7th seed right now, but what if they lose? And for us, looks like now it's a cluster of 6-win teams, and there are many of those. Very difficult to say the scenarios here when it comes to draft positioning. Wow, that's +8 fatigue here at this point of the season. That's interesting. I like how they have, handled that. At least on the surface, more fatigue later in the season. Looks like less recovery as well for the other players. No Harrison Hand, Andrew Booth, or Brian Asamoah here in the season finale, unfortunately. Here's a little thing I want to do. So all these players are going to go on IR right now, and that's going to give us 3 open roster spots. I call this move getting a jump on the offseason, because now I can sign 3 players away from other practice squads that I'm just intrigued with, and then they're going to be under our team control going into the offseason. We're going to start here with 60 overall defensive tackle Matt Gottle. I'm not familiar with him, but he's a 6'2", 341-pound nose tackle, 90 strength, 77 tackle. Now we're going to bring in J.R. Reed off of the Broncos practice squad, and I targeted him because of his ratings. Not this interesting coincidence, but his dad was Jake Reed, who was a wide receiver for the Vikings. At the time, the Minnesota Vikings had what they called 3 deep. Chris Carter, Randy Moss, Jake Reed, they were 3 deep, one of the best receiving cores in the game. I just happen to like him as a developmental safety option, though. And I wouldn't mind signing Tay Crowder. I mean, when you're running a 3-4, you need those 2 off-ball linebackers. And it's okay if you have somebody who's just like a decent run stuffer. And Crowder doesn't have great block shed, but he's a practice squad player. And at least he has tackle and some athleticism. Defense is definitely the area I'm trying to get this team better and deeper overall. So 3 practice squad signings there as we go into our final game of the season. I can't stand this place. You know how many good football memories I have with the Vikings in Soldier Field? Like 2. The good news is we don't really care about winning this game. We come out of the tunnel for the final time in the 2022 season. Can we play spoiler to the Bears? Sure. But if we lose, oh well. And when it comes to this game, the way I handle week 18s now, these last games of the year when the season is lost, is I like to use this as a chance to see a lot of backups in game action before the season comes to an end. And that means Kellen Mond makes the start at quarterback for us. In real life, the Vikings waived him, and I'm not sure they'll even bring him back to the practice squad. But here we have to at least see Mond play 1 game. But it won't be with Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, or Dalvin Cook. There is the starting offensive line in there of Smith. I had to give him something to work with. And we'll start with Irv Smith getting 8 yards. It's just, I don't want to see a backup defensive line or backup offensive line. Nobody wants to see that. Mond fakes and dumps it off. That is B.C. Johnson on the catch up to the 42. Ty Chandler is the starting running back. We'll also see some of Kene Nwangwu. Ball at the 42. Here comes KJ Osborne. As we get it to Chandler, and he has nowhere to go. I have it at 52 run blocking. I don't like being very aggressive with my slider changes because I don't like overcorrecting and then finding the sweet spot. 2nd and 11. What the heck was that? Mond sails on 3rd down. It's knocked away. All right, Justin Fields, this is your chance. Oddly enough, the Bears and Vikings a couple years ago reversed roles in this situation. The Vikings needed a win to get into the postseason, and they played the Bears in the final game of the year. The Bears played their starter Mitchell Trubisky at the time, but like backups all over the place. The Bears did not want to win the game, and they did. The Vikings were terrible in that game. We'll see how it goes in this one. Justin Fields on 2nd down. Getting a chance to see how he plays. I mean, we should see a lot of games against the Bears in this series. 3rd and 7 for Fields. He feels the pressure and gets sacked by Danielle Hunter. That's the last we're going to see of Hunter in this game. No need to see him more in week 18. We'll run this one, and Ty Chandler gets stuffed. To the air on 2nd down, and a penalty is on the field as the pass is caught by Smith. Oh, it's roughing. Right side now. A bit more space for Ty Chandler to operate. That's refreshing. Gain of 7. KJ in the backfield on 2nd down. A quick dump to him. He'll make a man miss. Gain of a couple. The Seahawks are adding Sean Mannion to the practice squad. Why? 1st down, Ty Chandler. I'm just checking to see if the Vikings made a move right now. The Seahawks are going to sign Sean Mannion to the practice squad. Well, that would mean that, like, he turned down an offer from the Vikings practice squad, or they didn't extend him one. Mond fakes on 1st down, and that's Johnny Munt getting upfield. This ain't a bad drive. The handoff to Chandler, and he'll push forward. It's a gain of 3. And now third down. Can Mond put the ball in the end zone? Bears rush 4. Pass. Caught. Touchdown. B.C. Johnson. Vikings take the lead. So as we expected here, we are winning the game, playing all of our backups in this meaningless Week 18 affair. The Bears are able to answer. They get a drive together, and Justin Fields finds Darnell Mooney. Probably sim a lot of this game. I don't think everybody wants to see the full deal here. A short field for Chicago as they try to take the lead now for the first time. It's Fields on first down, and this is Montgomery. It could just, be placebo or whatever, but just the 52 run blocking right now seems to have refreshed the running game a little bit, just to give it a little bit of life. First down. Fields, 6 yards out, fade, end zone. He dropped it. He just couldn't squeeze the ball. It fell out of his hands. And now third down after what should have been a touchdown. This one's caught. Touchdown, Byron Pringle. Bears take the lead. But what about Kellen Mond trying to respond with the Vikings offense? Here's a run, a decent one for Ty Chandler. 10 rushes, 22 yards. It's not exactly impressive, but from what I've seen on field, looks like there's more of a fighting chance. First down, Chandler. I enjoy these Week 18 games here more than I probably should. I just love an excuse to see the bottom of the roster, to cheer for some backups to break out and get us hyped up for the future. Mond to the air on second down. I think he's actually looked pretty good. Like, I'm not going to stay stuck on what's happened with Kellen Mond in real life, where his development hasn't been going that well and the Vikings released him. But, everything to this point has looked all right in this game. We run this. And that's Chandler with the second effort. After getting the first down, now Mond looks to take off, and he'll take it inside the 10. 18-yard scamper for Kellen Mond into the red zone. 4 on the rush. Mond under pressure. Irv Smith with 4 defenders in the vicinity. Split backfield. KJ joins Chandler and Mond. It's second and goal. Swung out. Penalty marker down. We're going backwards. Second and goal, Mond. Oh, you gotta just run. Make them make a play. Third and goal. Will Mond throw this into the end zone, yes or no? He will scramble. He will run and slides. Taking us into the second half now. The Vikings are down 4, but driving after converting a 4th and 1. It's Wongwu for a gain of 5. Now it's Wongwu cutting to the right side and getting close to a first down. The gameplay here has felt a lot more grounded based on this small sample. Wide open! Osborne takes off inside the 10. Fullback dive. Touchdown! C.J. Ham. From the pride of Augustana University. Everybody knows about Augustana. What are they? The Augustana, it's on the tip of my tongue. It's the Augustana Vikings, actually. Oh, I didn't know that. The Vikings are winning again on Week 18, and the Bears have something to say about that. A penalty, though. Can they recover from it? 3rd and 2. Sacked by Janarius Robinson. Next drive, Chicago. Approaching Viking territory. And that drive stalls out. And they fail on a 4th down try. Mond and the Vikings at the Chicago 35. Mond wide open. KJ Osborne having a nice day here as the spotlight receiver of the Vikings. It's a fake. Mond wants to take off. A race to the edge. But he's not really trying to win it. Just going down, sliding. I think they've probably adjusted that AI because of all the quarterback fumbles on scrambles over the years. Chandler inside the 10. Almost broke it. This is the most fun I've had, I think, watching the running game. Like, on Madden 23. Outside of, like, some of the Dalvin Cook highlights in preseason. Just 52 run block is making it way more fun. Touchdown, Wong-Woo. The Vikings have a 2-score lead here in meaningless Week 18. Hey, if sliders is what it takes, sliders is what it will take. The entertainment factor is the ultimate goal here. I don't like adjusting sliders, but sometimes it's necessary, I guess. It's the first time I've really had to, though, in a series like this. And this first game just, it has felt like a breath of fresh air. We haven't seen any, like, strange, you know, bad throws under pressure into traffic that shouldn't have happened, and the running game is usable. Mond completes Irv Smith. On second down, how about Mond extending the play, but he's off the mark. Wong-Woo shaken up. That was a really good looking play, but this injury is going to keep me from being able to check the instant replay. I have to sit here and wait for 20 seconds. You want to wait with me? No, I won't make you do that. Just like Kellen Mond here with good pocket movement, evading the rush. And then it's just his accuracy isn't that good. Like, I can handle that. That's how that sequence should play out. Keeps you more into the game, interested when goofy things aren't happening. 10-point game. Mond. Oh, that time he got himself into trouble. So we were cheering a bit for draft positioning, and it looks like, you know, we picked up a win over Green Bay, and we're on our way to a win here against Chicago. In an odd turn of events, the Vikings have decided to play with only 8 defenders the rest of the way, citing injury concerns and running out of players. Fields on second down has Cole Kmet escaping the coverage of Eric Kendricks. The screen for Montgomery, run down Troy Dye. So Dye is one of those players, you know, like Tay Crowder, who could maybe find themselves into a role next year, just because I'm not going to put a high value on my off-ball linebackers in this defense. I want at least one guy who's good in coverage, preferably 2, but, you know, if that's not the case, especially in the base defense, I'll put anybody out there. I'd play you at inside linebacker. On second down, it's overthrown by Fields. 1:52 left to go. Fields with a shot, picked off. No. I thought maybe Dantzler had that one. He just knocked it away. Now it's 4th and 11. Bears, season on the line. Fields heaves one, and it's pulled down at the 22-yard line. A fantastic grab. Bears still have all their timeouts. Fields wrapped up and sacked by DJ Wonnum. They're trying to hold on to those timeouts if possible. Fields almost. If they kick a field goal, though, they save all their timeouts for the attempt of getting the ball back. I would have kicked a field goal probably right here. Fields, end zone this time, broken up. I gotta say, they actually handled that, whether it was on purpose or not, they handled that well, keeping their timeouts, getting a makeable field goal. Oops, it doinked off the left upright. The Bears are still the Chicago Bears. Oh, some things never change. And the Minnesota Vikings end their season with a pair of wins over the Packers and Chicago Bears. Final record on the season is 7-10. And the Vikings are not bad enough to play themselves into a top 5 pick. And this is kind of the story of the team oftentimes. You know, when they have a bad season, it's never that bad. It's somewhere in the middle. They'll pick 13th. In this case, I still expect us to have a possibility of picking in the top 10. But it just got a whole lot messier to figure out. I don't think Mond was bad, though, there. Like, that game was fine. He played like a backup quarterback should. Just took care of the football, made the simple plays, and kept us in it. We'll upgrade some of the new guys here. We got J.R. Reed. I guess we're lucky that they're all getting upgrades. Matt Goddell. Block Shed. That's what we like. Oh, we didn't make the playoffs. But neither did the Chicago Bears. We successfully played spoiler in the last game of the year. I'd imagine now the draft spots are figured out and the game will tell us. They have us at 7. That's still pretty early. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that could be true if we are indeed like the worst of this bunch. Maybe it doesn't quite have this sorted out. I don't know. But somewhere between 7 and 11 is where we're going to select. Now, I did for a while overlook those earlier quarterbacks because I assumed we'd pick later, and it turns out we will. It's just our road there was a little strange. It wasn't a straightforward navigation at all. But you're looking at quarterback needy teams early. And if Seattle double dips, that really screws us over. And anybody else looking for a first-round quarterback in this range. So ahead of us, you have to worry about Seattle. You worry about Detroit. Well, we don't even know the full draft order ahead of us. Those two, though, I do think are picking in the top 3. I guess you'd also have to look at the Texans if they pick before us, and then the Commanders as well. Like, how many quarterback-needy teams can we project to be in front of us? Lions, yes. Seahawks, yes. Texans, yes. Commanders, it depends on the tiebreaker and what way that goes. I think there are 3 quarterbacks off the board before us if we don't trade up. So I don't think Thompson has a chance of falling to us. B deep, A short, A under pressure, fast, old school compact throwing motion. He has solid to good throw power, good accuracy, but not medium. Can't do medium for some reason. But he looks like a solid top 10 pick. Alex Beckett, I didn't have on the board. Do I reconsider? A to C deep accuracy, A short. I would need more info on him. But if the mock draft comes out and it's showing quarterback, 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 I probably won't bother with those valuable focus players. Mitch Carnahan, B short, A medium, B deep. But do I like these quarterbacks more than I like Mateo Enriquez? I'm more comfortable with him in the second, third round as a developmental guy. Do we think, though, if he has normal development, that his path to being a starter is as intriguing? And once you get past those top 4 guys, I just think you're in more backup quarterback territory. So it's really an early or never proposition. How about Sam Keenan? All right, B under pressure, A to C short, C to F medium, so that's going to be bad. Great to elite throw power as a pocket passer. Yeah, backups. He's a backup at D awareness too. Other possibilities, though, in the top 10, if we don't go quarterback, maybe we're able to get one of these defensive tackles. Okay, that's where that comes into play. Or, you know, an edge rusher. The top 4 there for Colombo looks okay. Matt Gabriel, 95%. B press, C man, B zone, A catch. You solidify the secondary there a bit more. How's the physical look here? Decent, solid speed. So big, but a little bit slower. I think I want the more athletic defensive backs in this game. But that's where things are right now as we end the season. Vikings 7-10, heading into the draft with a pick somewhere between 7 and 11. Here are the final stats for Minnesota. Kirk Cousins, 30 touchdowns, 16 picks. Very Kirk-like production here. It's not bad. Mond played fine in that finale. The running game was a disappointment. You know, when we watched the games, we never got to see Dalvin Cook really be the elite running back that he is. But maybe if I had him on 52 run blocking, that would have been a different story. But also, like, the offensive line is good. It's a work in progress, but it's certainly not great for, like, being successful in Madden right now. Jefferson, 1,200 yards, 1,001 for Thielen, 800 yards here for Irv Smith. Pretty happy to have him under contract. For blocking, Darisaw struggled, 14 sacks allowed, something to keep an eye on going into the future. A lot of tackles here for Eric Kendricks. Tackles for loss, Armin Watts. Yeah, I thought he played pretty well as an interior run stopper. Daniil Hunter, 9.5 sacks, but you can tell this team just needs so much more when it comes to pass rush. The signs continue to point to us taking an interior pass rusher with our first round pick. Picked up some interceptions, of course. Who isn't in Madden 23? Standouts here were Eric Kendricks and Harrison Smith. Fair amount of pass deflections there. You know, Dantzler had moments. Andrew Booth as well. I want to continue getting those guys out there. Greg Joseph had a fine season, nothing great. And let's check out the league leaders from the first year of the Vikings franchise. Tom Brady, 5,600 passing yards. 44 touchdowns to lead the NFL. They have Carson Wentz here still as a bridge quarterback. So with that tag, they're even more likely to go get a replacement. Oh, that's cool here. So they fired their head coach. It's not cool that Ron Rivera got fired, but just how the motivations stack up there. There's no team data. Team has no head coach. So, like, depending on who they got as a head coach, that would influence his motivation to come back to the team, which is cool. Dak Prescott had a good year. Joey Burrow, Justin Herbert, Derek Carr, Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, all the quarterbacks pretty much end up having good years. There's not a lot of surprise there. They're just all really good for the most part. The rushing leader is Derrick Henry. The King reclaims the crown with the best rushing total in the NFL. Jonathan Taylor behind him, CMC, Zeke, Mixon, Kamara, and all the other 1,000-yard backs. Receiving, Cooper Kupp, Chris Godwin, Devontae Adams all break 1,800. 5 touchdowns for Devontae, 20 for Cooper Kupp. Just a bit of a difference there. All the slot receivers getting their production. Love to see it, right? 19 sacks for Von Miller. 20.5 for Aaron Donald. And for interceptions, Fred Warner had 6. And Stephon Gilmore was the league leader. So we finish with a bottom 10 defense, or a bottom 10 offense and a top 10 defense. That's the opposite of what I expected here. But in points, we were pretty mediocre in both categories. Let's go to the yearly awards now. Your MVP. What? Jacoby Brissett, quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, MVP. We'll take a look at his stats, but we know Brady had more yards, and I would imagine more touchdowns. Zach Taylor, Coach of the Year for the Bengals. Cooper Kupp, Offensive Player of the Year. Aaron Donald on defense. Rookies of the Year now, Drake London and Aiden Hutchinson. Arnold Ebiketie came in second place there. Falcons almost swept the Rookie of the Year awards in the NFC. Still wish they'd show stats here. Like, I have to go into other menus now to figure out what these players did. Great year for Robert Woods. Whoa. Von Miller. Garrett Wilson, Rookie of the Year. And Sauce Gardner. The Jets do sweep these awards. And the rest of the awards go like this. Brady led the league in yards. Brady led the league in touchdowns. Brissett won the MVP with 39 touchdowns, 4,700 yards, 7 picks. Good ratio. But I'm curious what led him to succeed in the MVP formula. Here is a look at the Pro Bowl roster. And obviously it's all players that did not make the Super Bowl, so I haven't seen that matchup yet. But CJ Ham, he gets it. Did that fullback dive touchdown, you think, at the end of the season there help? Jefferson makes it to a Pro Bowl. Anybody else we expect, though? I can't imagine on defense. Maybe Eric Kendricks. But we just have a lot of rebuilding to do. Do the Cardinals have both their middle linebackers get in? Are you kidding me? Trayvon Diggs and Stephon Diggs both made it. And the Super Bowl matchup is between the 1 seed Cincinnati Bengals and the 6 seed San Francisco 49ers. All right, they made a big run. Big win over Tampa, big win over Dallas. They beat New Orleans in the NFC title game. And it was the Bengals topping the Tennessee Titans to make it here. These teams have lost Super Bowls in recent years, so now it's time for one to win. And the first champion of this franchise is San Francisco. The 49ers win their 6th Super Bowl title with Trey Lance at quarterback. Charvarius Ward is the Super Bowl MVP. Back-to-back Super Bowl losses for the Bengals. And that is a wrap on year 1 in the Vikings franchise. So we have our first offseason upon us. If you want to leave any feedback down below, feel free to do so. I'll check that out before I record the offseason. But I got decisions to make. What to do when it comes to the quarterback situation, what to do with that first round pick. I can't imagine we're going to be very active in free agency this year. And now it's saying that we're picking 10th. All right. So that is more set, and that probably means that Washington picks ahead of us. So I think there are at least 4 teams that want a quarterback picking before us. So I think you're looking at either we trade up for somebody, we take Enriquez, or we punt the decision to the next draft. And with us trying to build depth, if we're not going to get a quarterback in the first round, it's hard to argue with trading up for anybody. So again, just go into that available board one more time. It does seem like the best situation for us is to take maybe one of these 2 defensive tackles. They do have Enriquez, though, 11th on the available board. I just wonder when he goes. Is he still there in the second round for us at pick 42? I always say the series really starts in any of my franchises once you get to year 2. So next episode, it's really going to be a new beginning, moving into the future, and finally getting my hands on this roster to make some more serious changes. We'll see what happens. Hope you enjoyed the video and this first season of the series. For those of you giving the series a chance for the first time, I appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to getting on to the future with this team. Please leave a like if you've enjoyed everything to this point. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the off season. Have a great day.